Hello class, and welcome to this week's video review of the Wikipedia game, boring, pointless, or neither, and immigrants who speak indigenous languages encounter isolation. The first essay, the Wikipedia game, boring, pointless, or neither. Notice the subtitle, right? The use of the colon to set off the subtitle. A lot of times when you're using a colon in your title, you'll start by making a declarative statement, whether it's a quote or alluding to something like the Wikipedia game, right? The Wikipedia game, right? Colon. And then you put your ideas. It'd be like if you started your academic argument essay one, right? Vegetarian is the new Prius, colon, you know, is Freston's argument logical? Question mark. Something like that. So notice the rhetorical question comes after the subject matter, right? Before the colon to separate the subtitle. Is it boring? Is it pointless? Or is it neither? And I think they answer that question quite simply at the end of the introduction. Notice how the intro paragraph starts with kind of that background information on Wikipedia and the anecdote uh, about the different examples of how it can be used. Remember, anecdote is your experiences or your observations, things you've seen, things you've heard, things you've done, right? Look at how it ends. The final sentence. It's very clear. Under the right circumstances, it can be as much a source of entertainment as one of knowledge and self-improvement. So, what are the three supporting points as to why Wikipedia and the Wikipedia game is effective, helpful, logical, a good thing, positive? Entertainment, knowledge, and improvement. Okay? So remember, you want to list out your supporting ideas at the end of your introduction. You want to map out for your reader how you can improve your point. I call that sentence at the end of the intro the essay map because you map out for your reader what your supporting points are going to be. So we're going to prove how it's entertaining, how you gain knowledge, and how it can help with self improvement. Now, I like how all of the body paragraphs have clear topic sentences. Notice paragraph two. A prime example of this fact, right? Again, this is an academic argument. Another example of a sample student essay. Remember, we've looked at many of these throughout the semester, so you can emulate them, so you can imitate them in hopes to achieve the same success or surpass that success. Emulate, right? Look at that first body paragraph. A prime example of this fact is a phenomenon identified as the Wikipedia game, or it is now known to users of Apple and Android smartphones, WikiHunt. The topic sentence brings in the first example, the main example that they're going to focus on, this Wikipedia game, to prove that Wikipedia can be a source of entertainment, a source of knowledge, and a source of self-improvement. Notice how the second body paragraph, the topic sentence, uses Rogerian strategy. If you've never played the Wikipedia game, it's fun, educational, and for the most part free. Indeed, all you'll need is one or more friends, two computers, and an internet to connect. Right? Looking at both sides of it. Well, some people might have used Wikipedia, some people might not. Some people might have played, some people might not. Again, you want to be Rogerian, and this essay does a good job kind of walking you through what the game is, how to play it, and then gives examples of the game itself. I like how the conclusion kind of challenges you, right, to get from one Wikipedia page to the other in 20 links or less, 20 clicks or less with no backlinks. I don't know if you've ever played WikiHunt or the Wikipedia game, but I think that this essay does a really nice job of supporting the claim, the argument that it is educational, that it is going to provide you with knowledge and self improvement with examples and facts and details. It's a well developed academic argument. And I think the conclusion does a great job of succeeding at the three things we've discussed throughout the semester that a conclusion should do. It should repeat the point, it should review the support, and it should reflect on the prompt. The fact that so many people have independently found the fun at the heart of Wikipedia should be a heads up. The Wikipedia game is a grassroots technological innovation that sheds new light on what it means to know. And perhaps more importantly, one that reminds us, yes, learning can be fun. It isn't too hard to imagine versions of the game that could be played by kids in school, and how teachers could then use the game to learn more about the stuff of their trade, namely learning and how it works. Repeats the point, reviews the support, and now we're reflecting on the bigger picture, how Wikipedia can be an effective tool, right, for learning. So the next time you hear a friend or teacher or coworker dismiss the free encyclopedia as unreliable or unacademic, notice they put those words in quotes because they mean those words excel. Do them a favor and challenge them to the following, right? And then you have the Via of Livia to Montreal Expos broadcasters, no clickbacks, 20 links or less, go. Notice how they use the colon at the end to set off, right, the challenge. Notice how they refer to Wikipedia by its nickname, the figure of speech known as antonomasia. When you refer to something by its nickname or title or name other than its actual name for emphasis, right? You call me Professor Dolce instead of Craig. You're emphasizing that I'm a professor. It's emphasizing respect. The free encyclopedia is an appeal to pathos because, right, we all like things that are free. So Wikipedia, which is itself a portmanteau. Wiki in Hawaiian means fast, and pedia comes from encyclopedia. When you combine two words, right, to make one word, mush them together, bromance, brunch, Wikipedia, fast encyclopedia, Wikipedia, right? That's a portmanteau. So Wikipedia, the name of the website is a portmanteau, and its nickname, right? Its antonomasia, figure of speech, is the free encyclopedia because it's emphasizing that it's free. All right. Last but certainly not least, immigrants who speak indigenous languages encounter isolation. Love the alliteration in the title. I in the first word, I in the last word, I in the middle word, right? Immigrants, number one, who speak, 2, 3, indigenous, third, fourth word, languages encounter isolation. So the first word, the fourth word, and the seventh word all start with an I. Nice alliteration and nice parallelism balancing the words in the sentence. It opens with the anecdote of Laura, right? Gives very specific details of her isolation and her situation, right? The topic sentences are clear. The details are clear. The examples are clear. And this essay effectively uses emotions combined with logic. This is an essay that has an example, right? Laura, who has the ethos because she is an immigrant who speaks indigenous languages and she's encountering isolation. It effectively appeals to emotions and pathos when it describes how difficult her situation is. And we as readers feel empathy for her. And last but not least, her ethos, right, and the appeal to pathos are both supported by logos because this is an illogical situation that she is in. And when they reflect on the bigger picture, it's something that we need to address in our society. Laura, look at the conclusion. Who has not been able to find a job, said she wished it had not come to this. He's not a bad person, she said. She now fears being left entirely alone with her young son in New York City. Right? They look at the example of her and her relationship and her situation, right, with her child and her significant other. And I think that the title, the idea that they face isolation, is echoed in those last words. being left entirely alone with her young son in New York City. Talk about encountering isolation. So remember the importance of the relationship between your titles, right? The first words your readers read, and your conclusion, and specifically the conclusion sentence, the last word your readers read, because you want to make sure that the emphasis of both of those effectively establishes the coherence of your essay. Thank you for your patience. I hope you found this informative. If you have any questions, ring, text, or message.